Fun University. It's Tuesday night, 6:30. Time to rev it up and have some fun. If you have never been to Fun University, we are a sister channel of Craft Roulette, where we take an idea, a parameter that we had on Craft Roulette the Friday before, which was episode 82, so we named this 82 also, and we teach you a little something about it, give you some more ideas, because I get absolutely overwhelmed by the ideas. Over 80 ideas we received this week, so you can see them on craftroulette.live under gallery. Hi Linda, hi 5K, hi Leslie and Andy. Nice that you guys would all come. We're going to talk about Z-fold cards, and I think I've got some pretty good ideas that maybe you haven't heard of yet. One or two, we'll see. Let me go ahead and do the intro and we'll do this right properly. Hi Christina and Judy. Oh, you guys, you're so special. I'll be right back. Hi, I'm Mary Gunn. Welcome to Fun University. Hi, it's me again. It seems so weird to do that. Sometimes I think I should just hit that thing first. This is Fun University episode 80, Fundamentals, episode 82, in conjunction with our sister channel, Craft Roulette. I don't have this whole thing down right yet, but anyway, hello Roberta. It's what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take a parameter from Craft Roulette number 82, which is going to be the Z-fold card, and just tear it to pieces, and so that we can think of all sorts of, not just tear it to pieces, so we can build it up again and build it bigger and better. I'm always surprised that when you think you know, when you've known something for a long time, or for a while longer than recently, you think everybody in the whole world knows about it too. And so that's, hi Brian, and Becky Biddle. It's kind of like that with Z-fold cards. I thought everybody probably knew what a Z-fold card was. And then Friday night came. So you just never know. Let's go on down to paper. We are going to dissect the Z-fold today. Oh, I forgot to take the lens cap off. Yep, I sure did. And I didn't turn on the camera either. How about them apples? Let's see if it comes into view. Come on. There, it works. When, things work so much better when they get turned on and the lens cap is off. Yay. It's nice to have you here too, Gail. Well, okay, couple things. I have a whole list of things about Z-fold cards, so I thought we'd be a little organized tonight. One thing, though, that I have done, I know that you guys in Australia are just having spring days, but we in the Northern Hemisphere are having fall. And I found these old calendar pages, and I die cut them into all sorts of little die cuts, little die cut shapes, and they're so pretty. And I've been having a hard time knowing exactly what to do with them. But the other day I decided to just break them out and start messing with them. So the reason I was having trouble with them is because they don't have any contrast with each other. So like this goes on here, but yeah, they just look like a blob. So that's why I was having trouble. So I was messing around with contrast, and so I ended up using scraps. There's a piece of graph paper that I used as a scrap for the background, and that set it up a little bit. That was using a calendar piece for the tag and the heart. Then I just added a bunch of things on little cards, just so that they could be little focal points on a card, or this would be for like a mini slim. And I ended up drawing, you can use Sharpie, these are glossy, so you have to use something that's not going to smear. And this was just on trash, and so it kind of turned out kind of artsy. But it was kind of fun to do. I thought they were so pretty. It was something to do, and I wanted to try it, so it's been sitting there. I also put some gesso on the sides, some white gesso on the sides, just to give them a little bit of a pop too. There you can see that one that has some white gesso on it. Anyway, if you have some old magazines, or, this is Junk Journal Beauty. If you have some old magazines or calendars, you could, try it out if you want to. I don't know. Yeah, repurposing calendars is a real thing. You can also cut them just into sections and making little cards for for nursing homes and things. All those things. Last week, there was no Cards Plus because we don't do Thursday classes anymore. And so I gave the assignment of making monsters. This was one of the monster cards that I made last year, I think. But so those were simply making monsters out of cut circles that are inked, just swinked, and then put some clear embossing powder on it and some googly eyes, and you got some monsters. I guess I could give that to the little boy that next door that just booed me. That would be fun. Okay, Z-fold cards. This was my card from last week. It was the episode with crazy fun girl Laurel Beard, and this was my Z-fold card. Basically, what a Z-fold card is a three-panel card with 2 folds. There we go. 1, 2, 3. 2 folds, and usually the first one is folded in half. So, if you want to make a Z-fold card, this would be a 4-inch this is 4 by 8. You just fold it over normally so that you get that middle fold. Then flip it over. And if you want to fold it so that you have that crease to snug it up to, that's fine. You just know that when you open, you're going to want to open that up. So now you have 3 panels, 1, 2, 3, 2 folds. And you fold that one back on top of it itself. And then that becomes a Z-fold. So that's all it is. It's just another way to doll up a basic fold. You can do any size. This is an 8 by 8, so this is what I call a little chubby. So you can do any size. You can score these if you want on your scoreboard or whatever. So you can fold it in this way to get that nice crease, or you can just fold it on top of itself. Just make sure you have everything lined up. And then you're all set to go. The whole idea being that this guy is going to fold open like that. So there's my little chubby. That would, see, if you had this has a 4-inch base, 4 by 8. If you had a slim line, it might be a little weird, I say, but because it would just be a bit narrower. But, you know, I think also, I don't think if you look in the Hoyle's Book of Rules, there isn't one, but I don't think that you have there's a precise number that you have to do, like in fourths or halves or thirds. I think you can probably do different sizes and still be a card holding member of the card makers. I'm not sure, but maybe. Sharon from the red chair, you're gonna watch and fold. Good girl. I'm folding too, so we're both folding. But I think that's so. You can make them horizontal and you can make them vertical. The vertical, obviously, if you had it like this, wouldn't stand up. However, do you see that the similarity here with an easel card? Because easels are the same thing. You take the top piece, you fold it in half, but then you end up folding it up like this. And it has something there and a stopper to hold that. That is on another video. Maybe I can put that down in the link below. That's what other people do, but there's a good chance I'll forget. Thank you, Brian. Yes, those thumbs up. So anyway, that's the basic thing. You can make them any size, but slim lines would be a little bit weird. You can make them horizontal, you can make them vertical. You've got base and the front flaps. I don't know what to call them, but this is the base. There's also other things we're going to do with these things. I'm going to hold this guy off till the end. Let me show you some of these things you can do. This was mine. So in a very, very basic Z-fold card, you would probably just not have this guy over here, but you can, one of the fun things you can do is hide stuff. And I think that's just delightful. So, hi, Ashley. That's one thing. Now, if you do want, here's a tip, one of those tips. If you do want to have a bunch of, if you like having things in a file so that you can, like your own Pinterest cutout box or something, and you want to have some things, just make some 4 by 8s, fold them into Z-fold cards, and then start playing with them and start writing notes on them so that you can keep them in a little Z-fold file and pull them out when you get that parameter on the wheel or you think, I want to make something a little different. So here, these are just 4x8 and they're just handy to get ideas. You can get 4 of these out of one piece of 12x12 paper, so it's very economical, especially when you use cheap paper like I did. So here's one. We have a little peekaboo clear to the bottom, and then I used this off to the side. So that's kind of a cute little thing. This was just something I had sitting on my desk. So that's a cute little 4x4. Here's one that I started putting together, and the plumber was here and I was talking to him while I was working and I put it on the wrong side. It still works. So you can put it on the wrong side if you want. And then you could make a little pocket out of this front flap. This little flap I just glued down so it makes a little pocket after I cut the angle, and then I put a little bookmark in it, so you could doll that up too. And I didn't doll it up at all. Oh, you've seen a Z-fold as an 8.5 folded into 3 equal panel sizes, still 2 folds. Yeah, it would work. It would just be really skinny. So anyway, you can flip them around. If you're talking to the plumber, don't throw it away. It's okay. Here's another one that you can do. You can do a little die cut on the edge. So there are so many different areas that you can decorate. And this one I also glued down apparently you can tuck something in there. You could tuck that in just like that. But then he's going to be lonely. And then you can have a surprise underneath. Ta-da! And this is a little girl I put on a paper clip. So you can have a little fun thing for another day. So that's another fun little thing. Just a little die cut. And then a surprise. Ta-da! Paperclip. And on that paperclip, if you've not... Paperclips are real hip right now. I have one on the wheel as a parameter, right? As a matter of fact, it got vetoed a couple of weeks ago. But it's just a rather... an 1.5-inch size paper clip. She's glued to the front, and then I added some little foam tape on the edges because she's popped up because of the paper clip, and so that balances her out. But that paper clip isn't going anywhere. It's well ensconced as part of her anatomy at this point. So that's kind of a fun little trick. There we go. So if you want to have a whole bunch of ideas for Z-fold cards and things you can do, just cut up one piece of 12x12 into 4x8s and make a stack of them, and you can do all sorts of stuff. Okay, so we did some pockets. We're going to talk about, if you want to see pockets and Z-fold cards, go to craftroulette.live, episode 82 gallery, and there's a ton of them. Holy moly. You can do diagonal cuts. Diagonal cuts aren't any harder than the rest of them. Here we go. I've got one of these little pieces of paper just ready to go. And then that folds on itself. It's almost like a Z-fold card or an easel card. If you can do one, you can do the other. And then you can decide how tall you want your base down here. Yeah, it's not going to work this way. Okay. Nope. That didn't work. I'm going to go to, I don't want to bring over my big thing. So I will just do it with this. Okay, if you decide down here how big you want the base for your front flap, start at the middle crease, middle score line. Always use the side that you are not going to draw with because of this little piece right here that I just trimmed right off. And I don't use millimeters and centimeters. So I cut on that side of my straight edge. It's better to go a couple times softly. There we go. And there's your diagonal. It's so easy, isn't it? And isn't that just like, it just comes along so fast and makes something a little more awesome. Now to do it's not hard to do the little funny stuff on here either. Let me just get my little this thing out. I won't do it with measuring. It just isn't going to work. So what I would do is just fold it, put some paper underneath that you want. Let's bring it down at the bottom. Put some paper underneath that you want to put on the front. And you can either trim it with this guy again. So go really carefully because you don't want to cut into your paper this time. You could use a straight edge. There we go. And now I can use my little kazabber. And this will be the same size as the piece that we have on the front. So if you don't want that, that's not a problem. Oh, I guess I did it this way. You can have it the same size, or you can cut two sides off and make it a little smaller. So I would cut the bottom off and make sure you're on that even side, and then cut the same amount on one side, and then you can center it like that. Then same thing with the back piece, except you're going to want it to work with what side you want out. So, but you can do that too. And I'm doing it right here on this top thing. Is probably really a bad idea. But I don't draw on this thing, so I think it's going to be a bad idea that I can totally live with. There we go. Take that off. You're a little tall, buddy. A little tall in the saddle. Straighten it up. Cut it off and see what it looks like. We might have to trim it a little bit. There we go. Yep, you'd have to trim him just like we trimmed the other one, and then you can just go ahead and go through it. See how this is another thing that you will never use all your scraps with, but you can get started. So you can do something along those lines and finish those off. I would want to add some, I think I would want to add some inks and some different things like that. We could put this guy. You can just play with scraps all day long. That's actually got a lot of promise. So there you go. You can put pockets on here too. I mean, you don't have to stop ever. You can just go and go and go. But that was how you can do the diagonal cuts on any size, as far as I know. You can add a focal point, which I did here. And this is a functioning pocket, as I recall. Yep. So you can add another pocket. You can also make the focal point that hangs over an extra fun fold. So you can make it an extra little card that sits on top. And then you have another little space here to write. You could also extend this over, and so that you would have more room over here to write as well. Or you know what would look really cool is if you were writing in this part in brown or black, and over here you wrote in white. And so you kept the whole sentence going, but you wrote in white here, and then you went to a dark. That would look really cool. So anyway, you can put another Z fold on the top. You can make an easel card on the top. You can do any kind of fun folds that will work as a smaller little image for the front of a Z fold. Ta-da! Now the thing, when you do have something hanging over, you can put something underneath, and then you can hide it. So you want to make sure that those sizes are about the same, Or if you want to think about this too, you can make them a little bit bigger and you can actually have a mat on this side underneath your focal point, but not on this side, which could be pretty cool with an symmetrical kind of feel. So the extra fold was fun, unexpected. Yeah, I kind of like that part about making your own cards. You can make things that are unexpected. Another thing that you can do is you can make a scene. I love making a scene. Ta-da! Not that kind of scene, but you can make a scene and you can make it go all the way across the card. Like this one. And this one's pretty fun because when you have it closed, you have the little butterflies flitting around and you've got this little guy sticking out, kind of an extra little interest piece. And then you open it up and you see the verse, and you still have plenty of place to write because you're not going to see that. You can always glue this down too and have a hidden compartment if you want. You can get really ridiculous, but it's really fun. Here's another little scene. This was from an early craft roulette where you just make one panel and then cut it up to fit across the whole thing. Again, when you do that, this is a Jennifer McGuire tip, cut the piece out instead of just cutting it off and spreading it, because like this flower looks a little unusual in size. But since it's kind of an abstract, whimsical flower, it didn't matter. But if you do just cut it and spread it apart, then you can get some kind of elongated weirdness. But if you cut 1/4 of an inch and then leave 1/4 of an inch between your panel, then you'll have more realistic, I don't know how I can say realistic when I'm looking at clouds with faces on them, but you can have a more realistic picture for your card. So that's kind of a fun thing too. I like this one too. This was from episode 20. Oh my gosh, in July 2020. I think this may have been before we had guests. So that's really old. Anyway, this one I don't have a real sample, but you can do partial die cuts. So if you want to do a partial die cut, and this is also what I like to do, is use really crummy cardstock and make notes on it. And then I keep it in, I have a file that says Z-fold cards. And so I can put that in there and make notes, and you can, and just have all sorts of notes here. It's a Z-fold card, space for writing or sentiment. Because you also have this part, when it's closed, you can also write here. So you can write here and here. But you know, if you don't know how to do a partial die, let's see if I can illustrate it without actually doing it. You can use stenciled things. You can, I may not be able to, I don't know where that is right off. But if you have your little your desk stash stuff, you can do grab some pieces that you have stenciled that you just think are pretty, but you haven't known what to do with it. You can do that. We could do this. Let's do this one. Okay, so let's get an A2 size card. Do I have one that's yep, I do. Okay. We do. Okay, so we'll do an A2 size card. Good enough. And how are we going to do this? Using this excellent template, we'll just put this on the back. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? I don't know what we're going to put on the front yet, but we'll just put this on the back panel, the base. It's all about the base, This is going to be 2 1/8, so if we want to make it 2 1/8, if you look at the 2 right here, and then you go to the next big one is 2 1/4, then 2 1/2, 2 3/4, and 3. So 2 1/8 is this little guy right here. And let's see if I can cut him off. I don't use 2 1/8 very often. I feel very unsure of myself. There we go. Oh, I messed it. I don't know. Maybe I hit it wrong. Let's just go to 2 then. I don't care. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, that's right, because this is 2 1/8. So I wanted it a little smaller. That's that math again. Dadgummit. Math and Mary. Oil and water. There we go. Before that gets too solid, I want to make sure that it lines up okay with it. It's a little high. There we go. That will work. Isn't that pretty? My goodness. What a surprise to make something, find something pretty like that. Okay, let's find a circle die would be lovely. There we go. I don't want this guy too big. And we will just set it here. It's pretty much in the center, I think. I think I will put the very used tape on this side. You know how plates will bend? So I thought, you know, why don't I just start working on storing it with the plate in the middle. I don't think it's helping, but it was a thought. It was a thought. So we'll put that on here, and then we're just going to put the top plate to the point that we want it cut. And chances are you've seen this before, but chances are I'm not doing it right, but I think I am. Let's see. This is going to be a little fatso to get through, but don't let me down, dude. I was reading an article about keeping your bones healthy and strength exercises. I think I just did one. They didn't say anything in the article about die cuts. Look how dirty that is. Shame, 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 shame. Okay, so there you go. So that little guy is going to stick out. Then I can cut another one and it can go right there and it will be so cute. It'll just be so cute. And then you can put some kind of lovey-dovey kind of encouraging deal about something. I don't know. About keeping your bones healthy. I'm going to cut one out real fast. Craft. Be a paper crafter and keep your bones healthy with an old die cut. And see how pretty? Just like that. So that's something you can do with a Z-fold. There we go. Stick that in there. Ooh, I love that. I like pink. I always forget that I like pink. Sometimes I think I don't, but I do. Okay, and then this is a fun one. This is a fun one. This one went all junk journal. Oh, yes. Yes, I haven't watched the Jennifer in a while. Dadgummit, I should look that up. 5K, that's a good point. 5K says that Jennifer has a video on how to solve those plates. Very informative. And I just haven't done it. Yeah. I shouldn't have folded where my die was, but then that showed me where to put it though, Roberta. I guess you could do it without folding it first. But then I knew where the center was. So that's why that worked for me. So this is when I went all junk journal. So when you're doing something along these lines, what I turned out worked for me was to use a good sturdy kind of base and to have some interesting, this is an old Tim Holtz paper, an interesting front and back print. And so that you have, there's no reason to use that part, it's kind of sad. But you could put a pen in there or something. That'd be kind of fun to just stick your pen in there. No, 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 don't do that. Or you could put one out here on a ribbon or something. But anyway, so we go all junk journal here, and then we end up with a little card right here, which is a tag that's been made into a card. And then I made just a little signature with paper that was sitting on my desk. And there's a scrap from cutting this paper, and I ended up adding a little doily. But it doesn't use much paper. But I thought it was really fun just to do a tiny junk journal Z-fold card. And I enjoyed it. So if you wanted to do something for a the 30 days of Thanksgiving or whatever, you could do something like that and maybe not use as junky paper as I did on the inside. This was just, and then I just did some stamps and put some little scraps on here. That was all to it. But that was kind of fun. You could do lists too. Like you could put a list here, and you could even have the top fold up if you wanted to. A couple pieces of paper that you staple on, and then one here, so that you could have the do list and done list. Any number of things, but you can make this. You can make the inside, if you have a big front on it, you can make the inside pretty substantial. This one not really fat. If you do make it a little fatter, then you might want to do an extra 1/4 of an inch here, or an 1/8 of an inch or something, just to give it a little bit more space so that it doesn't get so cranky. But yep, that's an idea right there. I thought that was really fun. So those are just some basic things that you can do with a basic Z-fold card. There's quite a bit, isn't there? Again, if you want more ideas, go to episode 82 on craftroulette.live. In the gallery, there is a ton of great ideas. It could be so fun. Oh, you like my junk journal? Good. I think it's great fun. I do. The pages are supposed to be junky. Well, there you go. I followed the rules. Couple things that you can do to doll up a Z-fold besides just the basic one. You can cut the front, and so that you have a basic A2 size card, but you can put the Z-fold inside so that it pulls it open. And I saw this on Craft Roulette's gallery. Sylvia Podrasic did it one like this, and I thought that was so cool, and it opens it up. And so the Z-fold is actually in here. There is just a band. He is how long? The back is 3.5, and then to the first fold in the middle it's 3.5, and then it's 3 3/4 to the second fold, and there is the second fold right here. And there's just a little squibbum of him, 1.5 inches there. So I thought that was really fun. Ta-da! And put a pretty little guy in there. So that was a fun thing. And I don't have any instructions on this because it was just a little bit hard. It was a little bit hard for my brain. But I did put a little piece of graph paper because it was on my desk, just right there so that you would have somewhere to write, because there's a lot of busy here. And but that was a fun little thing too. I mean, it just has to do with the Z-fold inside, the inner Z, as not inner G, but inner Z. Then there's a lot of cool cards that I've seen with double Z-folds, and I heard somebody with the best trick for this, and I'm going to show you what it is right now. So say you want a double Z-fold card. So what you can do is you can go ahead and cut a basic shape. This is 8 by 8, so when it's closed, it's 4 by 8. It's what I call a little chubby. And then you can go ahead and fold it, and then you can cut off the bottom part. Let's see, this is going to be like, we'll say that's 5.5. We'll say that's about 5.5. And then you just cut the bottom part off at the same time. You know that it's going to have the right folds, which is just wonderful. But then you flip it upside down and you make a double Z. So when you close it, you end up with this cool little square in the middle. Let's see, isn't that a nice little take on it? Here we go. Let me close my door. My husband just came down and started talking on the phone real loud. He's got a big voice. All right, so let me show you that again. Instead of cutting 2 pieces, cut 1 piece and decide how big you want this extra band. So if you want it to be 5.5 and you want a 2-inch band for the second Z, just make it 7.5. And so then you will cut it, fold it, and then cut the bottom off, flip it over, and add it to your card base. I heard somebody else give me that hack. I don't remember who it was, but I sure thought it was brilliant. So, and then if it's still too tall, but just add however much you want. Now, there was a cute card that Vicki Ruda made. I think it was Vicki Ruda. And she had the band up here, and it was like foliage in a jungle. It was just the darndest thing. So, let's see. If I know how tall this is, I can just put the adhesive right here. I don't have to worry about where it's going to be on the back. And then just fold it on there. There we go. So now we've got this little piece. And you can just decorate it as you want. No, however you want to. This one, I thought turned out really pretty because it has lots of different pops of contrast. And so it's got the little kitty right there with a tag, Friends Forever. And it does still lay flat, so if you want to write on it, you're good to go, or add any kind of, this would be really cute with a small bunch of sayings or a little magnet inside that somebody can have for a present. And then it just closes up. Double Z's are your favorite Z's. They are pretty darn cool. I must admit, they look really fancy. And so this is the card I did with the double Z. Now this one turned out really fun. As you can see, the second Z is quite tall, and I cut out little things. I did not do a good job on this per se, and I know that I would do things differently. Like I would make sure that it stuck, but I did die cut on the second piece, this piece right here, and it was nice and tall, so you can get that little shadow box look. And then I've got a couple more bears hiding. And since we had pockets last week, I went ahead and added a pocket. And I didn't do it I just cut it. There's a double pocket. So I went pocket cuckoo. But I just cut a little strip out with my straight edge and my whatever that is, craft knife. So there you go. But it's really very, very fun. And then you I just added these little pieces on the inside so that it looks like the one bear is far, far in the distance. And it wasn't. You could do this forever and make it totally fabulous. But you could make this, imagine doing this as a really big card. Like a whole 8x4 kind of card. That would be fun. And then you could have a big fat thing. You could have it peeking in here and in here. You could do all sorts of things. You can have things pop up. Like Christina, you had that wiper card. I think that I have not mastered that yet. I certainly wasn't going to do that. This one took way too long to do on one of these classes, but it wasn't hard. It just was kind of funny. Yep, pop-up bunnies for Easter would be really cute, Danica. Yep, that's what I was thinking about when I was doing that, actually, because I was thinking those sugar eggs, remember? I loved those. They were, I was pretty sure when I closed my eyes at night, they came alive. But, yep, you could do sugar eggs, you could do all sorts of fun things. You could put pictures in there. How about those old school pictures, the little wallet size? You could put your picture in there to really frighten somebody. Or if you have an old Xerox copy of some old black and whites, you could do all of this in old black and white photos. Oh man, that would look cool. And then, and make it real vintagey. I just happen to have these guys sitting on my mask. I'd been playing watercoloring them for a week or so. And I thought, I'm just going to make something with them. So, and it's just a double Z. Wiper isn't, I know it's really easy if you get a good, oh, maybe I'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe, yep. A wiper card. If you have never made a wiper card, it's when something is inside here, you open it up and it comes out. It's very cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, don't be intimidated by Double Z, Ashley Young. You're very able to do that. And then we had the Zizzle card, which is what Laurel Baird made. And it turns out that this is taking a Z-fold card. And when you don't know what a Z-fold card is, and you just go ahead and close it up, make it into a pocket by adding the adhesive right here on the inside of the second panel, and then adhering it to the base. And then you have this thing that stands up. It doesn't stand up real well, but it does stand up. I think if you have the front a little longer or something, one of them has to be bigger, but I'm not going to do the math on that one. But it's a Zizzle card because it's like an easel, but it's a Zizzle because it's a Z-fold. And so when you do have a Zizzle card, you end up with really fun pocket. You can get the pocket here, which I have here with some tags sticking in there. And then I added a second front pocket to the beginning of it so I can add another little tag in there. You can get crazy with this too, and you can do a little diagonal pocket with something sticking out. You can go pocket crazy. Anything, any card, you can make lots of pockets. So just don't eat Hot Pockets because those things are kind of gross. Then this is just a little tag that I did a double. This was a tag. Okay, so here's some tags. Here's a tag with a one pocket. Yes, there's two pockets on the tag. There's a pocket on the front. And you could put one there too, but I decided to be restrained, but you can put one there and you can put one in back too. It wants to stick a little bit, so you have to be a little careful. But and then this one was just so plain. It doesn't have any pockets at all. The reason this has white or cream behind it is because there was no contrast, and I couldn't stand it. And so then that one also got some contrast behind it because I couldn't stand it. And so that is a Zizzle. And it's so fun just to say that you just want to make them. But that's what came out of the Zizzle right there. And then I had a surprise. I really wasn't making much tonight, except I just wanted to show you some tips and some basics on Z-fold. So when we get that next time, or whenever you do a parameter like that, you aren't stumped. You could put this guy right here once you decorate this card a little bit. Look how cute he is. He is hand-drawn, and he could be a focal point. And then he is Copic colored. Whatever. But the fun thing about this guy, are you guys ready? He can grow legs. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Let me pull him up here. He works better if I hold his head. And his little legs pull out, and he can be tall. So that's that was my surprise, my secret from my gnome tonight. The little mechanism is very, very primitive. And I made his legs really tall, and then I backed him with some green paper just to make him a little stronger. This is a little piece of foam tape to stop him. That's the little stopper. It's nothing fancier than that. There is some foam tape on both sides. And, you know, you really should put some powder on the inside so they don't stick. But it just goes... I thought for a while I was going to make the ball of his hat pull his leg and pull him up. It got real complicated. And in the morning light, I went, oh my gosh, no, this is so much easier. Just made it like this. His arms were Copic colored strips and then cut just into strips and put on here. His little mittens are nothing more than the letter C with a little fat line at the base. And then these are, you can do this. You so can do this. And his little feet are nothing more than a circle cut in half. And they stop his legs from going up underneath him. So I think he's a heck of a lot of fun. I didn't put any pockets on him, but you know, you could. You totally could. Oh, Christina, you can draw gnomes. You can totally draw gnomes. Let's do a gnome. And then we'll call it a night. Okay? Let's do that. I do have a video on drawing using the letter A for a gnome base, which if you look at him, he looks like a letter A, doesn't he? So if you want to think of a letter A, there's your basic gnome. I mean, they're nothing more than that. And then for your cross piece is where you're going to be putting your little, I'm just doing it in pencil now and then I'm going to go over it. But you're going to put his little hat thing. This is going to be his hat. If you want to make, then you can make his hat a little crookedy if you want. But you already know where it's going to be coming down to his head just fine because you made the letter A. And then for his beard, you can decide whether you want a big beard that goes outside his A or just a plain beard. You can make it jaggedy if you want, or you can just make it come down here with the letter V at the bottom. For his bottom, you can make him rounder if you want, or you can make him a skinny little gnome. And then just close his letter A up. Down here, we're doing half circles. You can do half circles, which is nothing more than a letter B. All right, so there he is. I usually put his nose in his cap right there. I don't know. And you can give him a little mouth, which is nothing more than a dot. For his little mustache, all you need is to make a letter B around. I would make his mouth after I make the letter B. 2 dots for his eyes. If you want eyes, usually I don't even put eyes on him because it's kind of weird that it's inside his cap. And then make your cross piece. Go ahead and put your beard on him. When I first started doing gnomes, I never gave him arms because that just made it harder. It's a little janky. And then you usually give him some kind of little ball for his little things. But if you want to give him arms, you can make him really skinny. And you'll be fine. Because you can do anything you want. You can give him fat arms. You can make him hold something. He could be... Well, you could put a present on him. You can always cut something else out and stick it on there with a die cut, right? And for his little hands, his little mittens, just do some circles and put a little oval there. Oops, that's really bad. Put a little oval there to make it look like he has furry mittens. And there's his hands. And that is how you draw a gnome. And then you can go ahead and just do fun. This was just doing Copic coloring with, I don't know, I think 3 colors of green. So, and then coming in with some finer point markers to make it more detailed, and some white gel pen. That's all there was to it. Oh, you want a stamp set of my gnomes? Oh, I don't. You can learn how to draw them. I think you need to make your own gnomes. They're so much fun. Yeah. Is he going to be tall? This guy is. He's real tall. He's so tall. Isn't he cute? I just love him. Anyway, I think he's fun. All right. All right. Well, let's look at all this nonsense again. There's your art lesson on how to draw a gnome. I want to see those in Fun University's lounge. Just draw some. It's fun. And I think it's on the Craft Roulette channel where I had the A gnome. I'm not sure, but that was basically the A gnome ones. I think he's just hilarious. I love him. Then we had the Ziesel. We have the double Z with the cutout panorama. I don't know what those are called. Shadow box. We had the card with the pull out inner Z. So fun. We had the junk journal. This is 5x7. Junk journal Z-fold. We had this guy with the partial die cut. Now we don't overdo it here at all. We have a scene with a tip on each one of these. And here we go again. You can do an extra fun fold for the top for your focal point, or you could put it inside, or you could put it in both. That's the thing. You have so many opportunities. You can put one on the front folder, or the front flap, inside flap, or the back. There's just a lot of things you can do. And then there is a basic one with a little focal point in front. There is your little basic Z fold. That I don't remember what time that was. Double Z. There's another double Z. Oh man, I kind of went overboard, didn't I? And then this was showing how to do the diagonal. This is a university level class, though. You know, you expect more than just one card, right? You can do a little extra gift inside. This is a paper clip. You could put some dangles or a tassel on there. That'd be really cute. How about some little apple beads or something? Wouldn't that be cute? Oh my gosh. With a little bag or a little gift bag. Oh well, anyway, of apple stuff. Apple Jolly Rogers and all that kind of stuff. You can do it backwards when you're talking to the plumber. By the way, we got our bathroom back. It's been since June. I'm so excited. You can do another little diagonal, put a little bookmark in it, because you can fold down that front flap, even when it's on the wrong side, and you can have peekaboos. There's probably a million other things you can do on any one of these things, but I think that's enough for tonight. Welcome to Fun University. We do want to say thank you to our patrons. Oh my gosh. We have something on order that should update or most people won't even notice it if it works the way we hope it works. But it's probably the most costly thing that we've ever bought for the studio. So hopefully it will work beautifully. I'm looking forward to it. We do thank you guys. Appreciate you very, very much. I know that it's not always easy to find a buck or two to share, but we really, really appreciate you. And we want you to know it. I don't know what else I have for you. Let's see. That's it. I think that's it. We'll see you Friday night. We won't be here on Thursday again because I have given that up and I'm kind of excited by it. On our Patreon blog, we'll probably I'll put all this up for you guys tomorrow. And some tips. I'll put my tip sheet in there too. Then Friday we get to play craft time. I know who's coming. Carrie Rhodes. Carrie Rhodes is going to join us, and she was the one that had the stuff blow up in her mailbox. So we'll see how her mailbox life is going and if she got a new mailbox and all that kind of stuff. You just never know what you're going to find out on Craft Roulette. Yes, do give us that thumbs up. Share with all your crafty friends. It really does help grow the channel. And then if you haven't, sometimes you think you're subscribed and you end up realizing you're not. So do check, and if it says subscribe, hit that. We'd love to have you be a part of our channel. We have the Facebook group, Fun University Lounge. You're welcome there. Just answer the questions, and you will be given access to it. I think you're given access to it anyway, but you'll be official. And then the Craft Roulette. I think it's all down there. I think we put it in there. I don't know. Anyway, we just love being here with you. Thank you so much for spending the evening with me, and I will look at all your suggestions, thoughts, and ideas and comments. Always nice. And we're going to say goodnight. Kiss your brain. You're brilliant. We'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.